All right, this is readiness skill number 4, exponentials. For whatever reason, the way the test is formatted and the way they have the objectives positioned, exponentials ends up having a lot of questions on the test. Now, some of these questions overlap with calculator skills. For example, this one. But there's some basic information we need to know about exponentials. First of all, the equation is f of x or y equals, or in this case, g equals a times b raised to the x power. Okay, so you need to know a is the y-intercept. Okay, a represents y-intercept. Number out here is the y-intercept. That means it's the initial value. Down payment. Starting value, beginning value, whatever you're starting with goes here. B, I'm going to put that's your percent or your rate. Okay. Now B tells us if it's greater than 1, if it's a number bigger than 1. So if I look inside the parenthesis, here's a number bigger than 1. This is going to represent the growth model. Okay, this is bigger than 1. This will represent growth. All right, and then if it's less than 1 or in between 1 and 0, then this is decay. Okay, so part of exponentials is there's two key parts. One, the y-intercept, and two, this percentage rate. And it tells you if it's decay or growth. Okay, now decay starts off really big and gets really small. Growth starts off really small and gets really big. So if I'm looking here, I can see this starts off really big and gets really small. So it's got to be one of the two decay models. So the two growth models are out. Growth would start small and get big. Then secondly, this has 6 minus. You're never going to have a number and then minus a number on an exponential function. The number is going to be right in front of the parenthesis. Now you could have, well, not in for this one. You could have a -6, but you're not going to have a -6 on the Algebra 1 test. So these that have 6 minus something, those are out. So right there you can see your answer if you understand a little bit about the equations. Now, on the other hand, we have the calculator, home, new document, save changes, no, add the graph. We type in the first equation, 6, open parenthesis, control divide gives me that fraction, 1/3. And then in exponentials, we have the caret and the x. The x is always in the exponent, and hit enter. Now, this looks similar to what we see here. Now, we did say the number out here represents the y-intercept. So the y-intercept says to be 6, crossing there at 6. And this is 6, and that's 6. So that doesn't help us. So over here, we're going to change our window. This is going by 2s to 20. So the next one would be 22. So we're just going to change this to 22. Over here, 7. The next one's 8. I change this to 8. Okay, down here, -2, -3. We change this, just double click on it and you change it to -3. And then over here, -1 and -2. All right, so here's the graph and I can see that it matches. If I type the next one in there, 6, open parenthesis, 3, caret x, I'll see that doesn't match. Okay, that's the growth model. So easily enough, which one's represented by the graph, so you type it in. But you need to change that window to match. Okay, this time it's not a graph I'm matching, but a table. So home, new document, save changes, no, add the graph. This is calculator skill 2. They gave us an equation, we type it in, control divide, 5/6, and then caret key, and then it's to the x power. The exponent is in the, or the x is in the exponent. So here's my graph, and I'm matching it to this table. I can hit Control T, and then I go up to -2, And that is not 12.5. -1 is not 15. 0 is not 18. It doesn't match my table. Again, Control T, that's one way to get to the table. Since this one was pretty low numbers right there, that's probably the fastest way to go. But you can also hit Menu Trace, Graph Trace, type in -2, enter, see that it doesn't match. -1, enter, doesn't match. Then hit the tab and up arrow key. Now, some of you keep trying to type the next one in, and that gets confusing. That's why when you hit tab, you hit the up arrow key, go back to the one you just typed, and type in the next one. So you only have one equation in there at a time. You get all those equations in there, it gets ugly and messy and hard to read and hard to tell. So enter, then Control T to the table, and then you just use the up arrow key to get to -2. Okay, that looks good. 15, 18, 21, and there's your answer. Okay, so again, it's an exponential problem, an exponential function, but it is still calculator skill too. So we've already studied that. All right, here's one for you to try on your own. Move my face over here. All right, so you should have went to home, new document, save changes, no, add a graph. We have 10, open parenthesis, 0.85, close parenthesis, caret squared. Oops, not caret squared, just, you can just type squared. Squared, okay. Now real quick, based on what we talked about earlier, here's a 10. That's my y-intercept. So crossing the y-axis should be at 10. That one's at 10. This one looks like it's probably at 10, and this one. So that doesn't eliminate any answer choices. Okay, now this is less than 1. 0.85 is less than 1. So that is the decay model. That means it starts really big and then gets really small. So this one starts small, gets big, starts small, gets big. So I can eliminate 2 there. This one starts big and gets small, starts big and gets small. So it's one of these two. All right, either way, I can type it in the calculator. I can't see anything, so I need my window to match this. This is going by 1s to 14 to 15. So I come up here, I type 15. This is 14 is going to 15. Okay, down here, -5. And over here, -5. Enter. Oh, I made a mistake on my equation. I put squared, but it's not squared. That's the x. Okay, this should be delete, hit the caret key, and type x. That's my exponent. I have to have an x in the equation. And whoa, that looks just like that one. Okay, it does not look like this one. It looks just like this one. And so there's the answer you should have chose. Come on now. Which is FG. All right.